Hello and welcome back to my channel. So I just want to cut straight to the chase with this video. We're going to be discussing 6 topics. So the first one is on smoking and how humans were tricked into believing that smoking was a healthy thing. The second topic will be on Bill Gates and the fact that he owns many farms around the world and he's encouraging people to eat fake vegetables and fake meat. Number 3 will be on Switzerland and their new vegan burger that tastes like human meat. The third one will be on vegan doctors and their degeneration. And then fourth, the degeneration of the vegan body. And then number 6 will be on Emma Chamberlin and how she didn't have a choice to be a vegan or vegetarian. She was just raised that way.
Day 4 packet.
4 packs a day?
Yes, all day.
Why 4 packs a day? So much, so many.
Oh no, for me it's good.
In 1994, 7 big tobacco executives swore in court that nicotine was not addictive. Today, tobacco is one of the leading causes of death, killing more than 8 million people each year.
Why do you smoke it?
I don't know, because I just follow my brother. My brother give me the cigarette, so that's why.
80% of the world's tobacco users live in low and middle income countries, which is what the tobacco industry thrives on. It also largely contributes to poverty, as the smoking addiction makes people prioritize cigarettes over basic needs like shelter and food. The man that played a big role in today's global tobacco epidemic is Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays is one of the greatest psychological manipulators of the 20th century. During the rise of feminism in the US, smoking was initially a masculine thing, so it was viewed as a taboo for women to smoke. So the cigarette company worked with Edward Bernays to launch the Torches of Freedom campaign targeted at young feminists, tricking these women into believing smoking was an empowering rebellious act against female oppression.
Give a woman the right to vote and by heavens, next thing you know, she'll want to smoke like a man.
This is the taste for today's woman. Tailored slim for your hands, for your lips.
Their goal was to also get women to smoke cigarettes instead of eating, so they used thin models and famous celebrities to promote the thin beauty ideal as a result of smoking.
Once you start getting that taste, you'll want to keep getting. So come on, get that fine
Despite
tobacco
new
taste.
strict laws and regulations, these companies are only getting smarter at manipulating people into buying their products.
You'll say it's the best tasting cigarette.
The full video will be linked below, but then he goes on to talk about how we were sold the idea that diamonds are also a very big necessity, so now people spend an excessive amount of money on jewelry when it's really just dirt from the earth. So yeah, I'm done.
What doesn't Bill Gates have his hands and money in? Here's 4 things you might not have known about Bill Gates. Let's look at 2019. The pharmaceuticals and health products industry in the United States spent the most on lobbying efforts, totaling to about $295.17 million US. So the pharmacy industry are the biggest lobbyists, and pretty much everybody knows lobbyists go to Congress to get their way with the law. It's essentially for decades been known as a bribe. When lobbyists do it and when Congress is involved, you're allowed to talk about it. I mean, the media just talks about the NRA and all their lobbying money all the time, but you're not allowed to suggest that other people are doing it. I mean, how dare you? But now that we know that the most lobbying money goes to the pharmacy industry, how much has Bill Gates spent on global health? Over the first 20 years of its existence, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation spent $53.8 billion on its various programs. $39.8 billion of that money went to global development and global health programs. He loves that global stuff. Within the last year, he was not very happy that nationalism and leaders like Trump were turning back inward, focusing on themselves and trying to get away from the global power control structure that he helped build.
But in general, in that you have been a great beneficiary of globalization and you have been a great sponsor of it and a defender of it. Are you worried about it at the moment?
More than I was 5 years ago, yeah. And it's not just the U.S. I mean, the U.K. is very interesting, and the turning inward. Is it cyclical? Because you're always going to have populism come along. The elites, in some ways, will overplay their hand, and you're going to cycle. Or is it secular and it's going to stay that way? I think all of us, come to forums like this seeking insight into, what will turn this around.
But yeah, you get it. He's spending a lot of money on global health. Fox wrote an article in 2015, the media loves the Gates Foundation. These experts are more skeptical. What?
Okay, he basically goes on to talk about the United Nations and the World Health Organization. But my main thing is, it will be linked below. Bill Gates owns a lot of farmlands, like around the whole world, and his company, Beyond Meat or Beyond Burger or whatever, is just trying to get more people to eat fake meats, to eat fake vegetables. There's so many articles about it, and so many people have done YouTube videos on the fact. But anyway, it ties into our next video, which will be on the fact that Switzerland has also been in the game to try and get more people to become vegan. And I just don't understand, what's the problem with choice? I understand population control is an issue, but it's just like, now we've taken away people's rights to a balanced meal. We've taken people's rights, health rights away. It's just, how far can we go?
You can do your own research and find all the other news conglomerates that Bill Gates gives money to.
On to the next news story. I want to talk about this. There's a company in Sweden called Oomph, and they have revealed the first ever vegan burger that replicates the taste of human meat. That is extremely disturbing. I want y'all to go ahead and watch this video, and I'm gonna come back with the rest of my commentary.
At Oomph, we turn plants into any mouth-watering meat you can imagine. This Halloween, we bring you the scariest plant-based food ever. Plant-based human meat. So be scared, but relax.
All right, so you guys just watched that video. Now, the thing that first bothers me, okay, I'm here for a joke, okay? I understand jokes, I understand gags, I have a big sense of humor, but certain things to me are not funny. Certain things, when I see stuff like this, to me, it looks like conditioning. And I've been talking about this for years on my old news channel.
Do you see the mess that we're dealing with in the 21st century? Like, I'm sure in the 60s they thought, oh, you know what? We're going to get into the future. We're going to have flying cars. No, they're going to make plant-based meals that are going to taste like human meat. Like, how embarrassing. I don't know if anyone has seen the movie Soylent Green. Spoiler alert, at the end, the Soylent Green that they're feeding to the population in 2021, by the way. I think that was when it was trying to be based on, but it was written in the 70s. And yeah, Soylent Green, whatever they thought was green, was actually made out of people. So yeah, I recommend everyone watches it. It's just so weird, bizarre. At this stage, I was shocked. Everyone's YouTube channel that is featured on this will be linked down below. When I saw this, I was, in general, going through Vegan Generation's YouTube channel. Honestly, it's so obsessed. I was obsessed with it. I was like, I am so shook. I'm so shocked by all this. I told my sister about it. She doesn't care. She's gonna eat plant-based. She cares more about, you know, her looks, you know, because it does give you just a sort of weak, pale, like, you're gonna lose weight, of course, which was what this doctor's goal was, probably. But then the problem is, in today's modern day time, it's just like no one is thinking of the long-term effects, and we're seeing the long-term effects. Just look at him. I'm literally just shocked, and it's really sad when you think about it. When you think about the fact that people are feeding their children a vegan diet. Oh my goodness. Okay, and so now there's a picture of Emma Chamberlin here, of course, which we will be discussing more towards the end. But in general, a lot of young girls, of course, have taken on the plant-based diet and just cutting out meat, which is a very important part of a balanced meal. It's shocking because a lot of doctors do not get nutritional training. Of course, they're not nutritionists. That's not what they're here for. They're here to solve a problem. So if you have a problem with your body, they have been taught in physiology, and they're physicians and things like that. So of course they're here to fix any ailments or diseases that you have. They are not here to help show you how to maintain and improve your body. That's why one time I had a rash caused by taking antibiotics, and I went to a pharmacist. A pharmacist knows about drugs and medication. A nutritionist knows about nutrition, of course, which is why you will not find many nutritionists saying that they're vegan. Otherwise they got their certificate online. It's just, we need to go to people for specific things. You know, if you're going to a doctor, go for doctorly advice. go to a naturopath for other things. There's so many different people that have different jobs, and it's important to know that. Okay, that's how you get referred to different people. So it's actually very upsetting to see like a doctor is only human. Well, he still is, of course, a human, and they make mistakes. Humans make mistakes. So it's like, I'm not going to fault him, but at the same time, he's influential, okay? He has an influence on the people around him, and it's honestly just so messy. And so now, yeah, just take care of yourself in general. But now we're going to go into like the deterioration of the vegan body as a whole, as young women.
I was thinking about something today in this video. I feel like I have a lot of thoughts about this, about veganism as a concept, veganism as an idea, veganism as a practice. And I feel like this is very important. This is like the foundation of vegan deterioration. Why do vegans deteriorate? So I'm looking at Nina and Randa here, and you would have to be a fool not to acknowledge that the frame of their bodies is different than the average woman of their age. I think they're in like their mid-20s or something. You'll notice they have very short clavicle bones. It's very short, very, very narrow hips that you would expect to see on like an 11-year-old. And I had to dig into this. I have to dig into this diet manipulation, because when you go vegan, you are manipulating your diet. You are. Okay, if you've been a meat eater your whole life and you ate a whole bunch of vegetable oils and you've been eating Oreos and eating McDonald's and going to Popeyes and eating deep fried shrimp when you go out, you might have some blockages in your arteries from that. And then when you manipulate your diet and you go vegan, you cut out all that crap, you eat some cleansing foods, it will actually, you know, it has a very high chance of cleaning the plaque from your arteries, or your body might just get hungry enough to just to digest that plaque. It is a cleansing diet. Now, once you get past that phase, your diet has to actually maintain what you have, what you were given since birth. You have a certain frame of body, you have certain sized organs. Looking at Nina and Randa, I'm just going to make an assumption here. I don't know for sure. Okay. But I'm going to assume that they have smaller organs than an omnivorous person since birth. Look at their shoulders. I'm going to assume their lungs, their heart, their kidneys, everything is slightly smaller. And a vegan diet can likely maintain that, you know? And so I had to get online. I was digging, like, does diet affect the frame of your body? You know, I couldn't really find much about the organs, but other than a study in rats where they gave them like a low protein diet, and the little rats came out with, you know, slightly smaller brains, kidneys, I think they said spleen, heart, you know, slightly smaller organs. So my thought is, like, if you're born and your parents give you a lot of meat, milk, animal foods, like my parents did as well, I got some broad shoulders, I got some longer clavicle bones, you know, very wide rib cage and everything. And then you go vegan, and that is a shift. That's a diet manipulation. Can it maintain what you already have? Now, I also heard about it was an extreme raw vegan doctor. I don't know if this is true either, but they said when he passed away, and I heard that his organs, like his kidneys, were quite small. This process, this shrinking back process, this brain fog, because I think maybe when you go vegan, your brain may, you know, I think the mass of the brain may go down a little bit. You can't tell me no different. I think that shrinking back process to adapt your body to this manipulation, once you get past the cleansing phase, I think that is where the deterioration and the agony sets in. I don't think Nina and Randa will have that. I had a comment, the whole comment that inspired this video was a comment from someone that said they've been vegetarian since birth, and I think they went vegan, and then they decided to eat meat for the first time in their life. And they basically were expressing they did not know what it was to feel normal and good until they had meat. It was like a whole different experience for them. So I was online and I had to research into the development of your body, because if your parents feed you milk, eggs, you're like freely, you grew up on a farm and your parents gave you eggs every single day, and then you try to like shift that diet, you have a certain frame of body, you have a certain size of organs, and if you dramatically change that, you change it to a lower protein source that's less absorbable, I think without a doubt it will affect your organs. It will shrink them back a little bit. It will, you know, your body will have to adapt to it and not just clearing out your excess cholesterol, and then that's it, and then you just stay the same. I think long term your body is going to have to change in some way to adapt to this new diet. So I was reading, and the only thing that I could find about humans, it was a study about teenage girls, and what did they do? They gave like supplements, calcium supplements. Some of the girls had dairy products, and the other group was a placebo, and I want to show you that.
Okay, so she basically goes on to show the statistics and to give more information on it, which is just so helpful. And this is the point where I was just like, my brain snapped, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is insane that there are so many children now being raised by degenerate parents in general, of course, all around the world. We have terrible pop culture, you know, everyone is getting married out, not married, but they're having children out of wedlock, they're moving off grid, they want to raise their kids the way that they were never raised, the way that they don't even know how to raise kids for the very first time. And it's just so disheartening the way that the world is working. There's so many like school shootings, parents are just defending their kids no matter what, and yeah, we're moving into very dark times, so please protect yourself and protect your energy. Also religiously, there's a situation where God gave us this entire world. You know, he said that the earth is ours, we have inherited it, we are in charge of everything on it, and of course people have chosen to abuse it, you know, abuse animals, overfish, and to just destroy the ecosystems, deforestation. And it's our responsibility to, you know, eat responsibly. You know, there's mukbang culture, and everything is just honestly falling apart. It's embarrassing, and all we can do is take charge of ourselves and the decisions we make. So you have to stay wise, okay? When you go shopping, eat before you go shopping, because there's like a psychological trick where you buy more things when you're hungry. And don't overeat, don't try any of these fat diets, intermittent fasting, you will end up binging at night. Just eat balanced and take care of yourself 100%. Pray before everything that you do. Pray before you eat a meal, so that you're really appreciative and grateful for what you're about to do in everything that you do. Just a disclaimer, by the way, all bodies are different, of course, and now we all know what an average body looks like. I know we've thrown away the BMI indicator and all those other things, but now we all know what a healthy body looks like. So now we have pear-shaped, hourglass, apple-shaped, and you know, we all know what an overweight body looks like. Whether someone is healthy or unhealthy, we don't really know, because it can be psychological. You can be ill mentally, you know, you can deal with an invisible illness, sickle cell anemia, fibromyalgia. And there's a situation where we are just talking about being vegan and its implications, okay, in society. And the situation is, I'm an apple body shape, okay, and it's not just for overweight people. It's not just a situation where you've reached menopause and all your fat collects around your stomach. It's a situation where your proportions are different. Your midsection is the widest part. Whether you're eating, whether you're bloated, that place will fill up first. If you lose weight, sure, you can see a different body shape come up. Regardless, there's different ways of dressing it. I'm completely fine with that. You know, there's a lot of fashion tips out there. Luckily, we have the internet. But when it comes to the vegan body, you can see that it is, everyone just starts to look the same, which she goes further into detail in her video. But yeah, everyone is different, and we all know what a child's body looks like. So sometimes it's just not normal to have a grown woman with a child's body. As you develop and you mature, the fat for women is going to go to their hips and to their busts. If you are under eating, I know plenty of friends that are just like small petite women, and it mainly happens with Asian and of course Indian people, where their bone structures are smaller, their frames are smaller. But then the friend that I had, she was dealing with issues with her menstruation, and it's just showing you, your body is telling you you're not healthy. Being underweight is not healthy, and that's why there's so many videos on YouTube about how to gain weight, how to increase your appetite, because those people clearly know it's not right for me, it's not good for my health long term to be so skinny. And now with vegans, they're taking the completely opposite approach. They're like, having a period means toxins are leaving your body, so it's a good thing that you don't have it, because now toxins aren't leaving. Like, that's not how it works. Your body is trying to tell you, hey, you are not healthy enough to hold a child. It's honestly crazy. It's insane. If you don't have kids, please don't project lies out into the world freely. But anyway, we are coming on to the last part of the video, which is basically on Emma Chamberlin and in general the effects of not having a balanced diet your entire life and how it affects your body image, of course your mental health, and then just in general your odds of getting an eating disorder have increased wildly when you're on a plant-based diet, and a lot of people use that as a deflection from their mental illness.
She blew up. Her videos blew up. Everyone followed her. People started following her editing styles with hopes of, you know, getting the same numbers. That's Emma Chamberlin. Right now she owns her own coffee company and she works with Louis Vuitton. What else? She's like on the cover of many magazines now. She's basically a celebrity now. Everyone knows that she's a celebrity now. So like I did before in my last video, as mentioned before, how I even found out about this information was from a girl named Blue MJ on YouTube who brought awareness to this fact and just like opened my eyes to what's really going on with these influencers when you think they're doing okay. So I'm just gonna thank Blue MJ for making this video and bringing attention to this topic. Gotta give credit where it's due. If you guys want, you could check out her video in the description box. Moving on, let's just move on. Okay, so in early 2020, Emma Chamberlin did a cover story with Cosmopolitan magazine, and in this cover story she basically revealed that she has struggled with an eating disorder and she struggled with body dysmorphia, and I'm just gonna break it down for y'all. Okay, so Emma said, "It's a bloodbath. Living in LA, if you're at an unhealthy weight, that's normal. That's really, really, really a mind F for sure. Like your grind is your grind, and I'm not going to get in the way of that. I just think that growing up on social media gave me eating issues as a kid. I literally have struggled with that my whole life. Almost every person I've met has had some form of an eating disorder. I mean, I don't want to trigger anyone, but so many. I've been fully not at a healthy weight and I thought I was obese multiple times. It's awful. My whole family was telling me I looked terrible. They were like, you look like you're dying. I was like, I think I look great."
You guys, this is one of those messy things where it's like it was right in front of our faces and we chose to ignore it, right? It's like she's saying, being on social media gave me eating issues as a kid. Imagine a child. And now we're already seeing, you know, when a child commits suicide, when people feel like living is worse than just ending it all. A lot of kids are as young as 10 years old and they can't stand the bullying, the cyberbullying, the online harassment, any form of harassment. And now it's a situation where kids have become so like weak. It's not their fault, it's society's fault. You know, we live in a society, and she is just showing us that kids get positively rewarded for bad behavior and negative mindsets, because what she experienced was wrong, but now she started a whole trend of girls becoming super skinny and noticing her issues and still ignoring it, completely ignoring it. So you see a lot of grown women actually making videos like eating like Emma Chamberlin for a day, what does she eat in a day, dressing like her, and then seeing the contrast. It honestly exposes a sick, twisted online environment that we are now living in. We're literally in the wild, wild west.
So eating disorders are behavioral conditions characterized by severe and persistent disturbance in eating behaviors and associated distressing thoughts and emotions.
Okay, so she goes on to just describe all the different types of eating disorders, and honestly, God bless her, because it's a lot already to hear the article, to hear a young girl discuss such things. I think I'm only like 2 or 3 years older than her, which feels insane because we're all adults and she's so successful and everyone works at their own pace. So now for her to be going through this much stress, I can only imagine like her future. I can't picture her in 10 years, 20 years, because it's just like, what would she be doing as a young girl? I can never picture any vegan in 10 years, 20 years, unless they're skeletal and just like dying, wasting away. So all the best to everyone mentioned in this video. It was very eye-opening and I hope that you enjoyed it. So please stay blessed, stay prayed up. Jesus Christ died for our sins and he is the true Son of God, and there's no harm in any that you do as long as you do it with the wisdom of the Holy Spirit. And yes, I love you. Jesus loves you, God loves you. Please be in peace. You have a choice with everything that you do in this world. Unlike a lot of other religions, it's just like, please try to make the best decision that you can. But otherwise, no harm, no foul. Enjoy your day.